Emergency video. I gotta get this out here before tonight happens, within the next, 7 hours. Got plenty of time, but that's what's... Stop throwing things, Joe. It wasn't funny last season. It's not gonna be funny this season. Okay? Get it through your head. But from what you can tell, Joe has returned and is currently off camera. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Douche. Gotta get down to business. I'm going to be giving a season recap so far of what's going on in Star Wars Rebels. It's been a while since I've done a Star Wars video, so Star Wars, everything is Star Wars. It's going to happen. So let's talk about the primary characters. I've gotten to know a lot of the characters a bit better. I've learned their names since my last video. We have Kanan, Ezra, Zeb, Chopper, Hera, and Sabine. All of them are a motley crew. They go together very well. They all bounce off of each other very, very well. It's very Firefly-esque, in my opinion. They have these very strong personalities that clash, but in a comedic way that makes it feel fun and realistic. Kanan and Ezra have by far gone through so much development this season that it's incredible how much they've developed. But most of the episodes go as follows. The crew is doing a job. They get sidetracked. They essentially give the middle finger to the Empire, and occasionally they have run-ins with the Inquisitor or some of the Imperials. Bada boom, they have an episode, and most of the time they come out unscathed, but the last couple of episodes, it's taken a bit of a turn, and I'll get to that momentarily. But going back to Ezra and Kanan, they have by far gone through more of a development than Anakin and Obi-Wan did throughout the entire season. Ezra has gone from being a kind of bratty, snotty, and kind of annoying street rat within the first couple of episodes, and he has grown into becoming a more mature and a more, I would say, collective individual, especially after the episode of Path of the Jedi, where he now knows what he wants to do. He has figured out who essentially he wants to be, and he's not just doing things for selfish reasons anymore. Kanan, on the other hand, has kind of done the same kind of pathway. He started off being a bit selfish, wanting to do things his way, not thinking about the greater scheme of what they're trying to do, and he has grown to accept his position as a Jedi and as a mentor figure, whereas middle of the season, he was very unsure of himself, he was very hesitant on his ability to train Ezra since he never completed his formal training. This is all culminated within the last couple of episodes because Kanan has shown that he is willing to sacrifice himself for others. Like, he has grown out of his selfishness and is thinking about the greater ideology of, hey, this guy is more important than I am right now. I need to save him as opposed to, saving myself. For the most part, this show has succeeded where the Clone Wars failed, and it's that it has successfully captured what it means to be a family-friendly show. It caters to kids in some ways, it has, the kid humor in there, some visual gags, and some of the themes are kid-friendly. However, the show does branch off once in a while and show its adult side. My problem with the Clone Wars is that everything was kid-friendly. Everything was a kid joke, a visual gag, and dialogue that only made sense to kids. Whereas this show, there's dialogue in there, the banter in specifically, that causes me to chuckle and sometimes laugh out loud when they joke around with each other because it's real dialogue. For instance, in the episode Rise of the Old Masters, they're all in the elevator, Sabine and Zeb trash talk Kanan while he's directly in the room. He notices this and they go, "We know." It feels like real dialogue and real humor as opposed to getting force-fed humor, like what Clone Wars tried to do on multiple occasions. Now, the villains this season have been a mixed bag. We have some great villains and we have some really, really awful villains. The ones that stand out are, of course, the Inquisitor. He is the most ruthless and memorable villain I have seen on a television show in a long time. The show has established that he's not a joke villain like a lot of the Clone Wars villains were. Like General Grievous always got his ass handed to him. Count Dooku always ran away from a fight. The Inquisitor, on the other hand, while he never fully succeeds, he always wins some small victory. Like, they always have to flee from him because he's just too damn good for them. Like, Kanan cannot match this guy. Like, even throughout their entire development together, Kanan maybe can hold his own a little bit better, but in the end, the Inquisitor is just better than he is. Agent Callus, I feel like they kind of wasted him. He could have been a very interesting character to delve into, like, with the Imperial Security Bureau. He seems like he would be a very ruthless character to give more time to, but they kind of just gave him a couple of, you know, good scenes in the first 2 episodes, and then they brushed him off to the side. I absolutely despise the governor of Lothal, because she reminds me of Duchess Satine from the Clone Wars, and I absolutely hated that storyline. So, she can, you know, we can brush her off to the side. And then, of course, we have Tarkin. We have Grand Moff Tarkin appearing in the last couple of episodes, and he has been a force to be reckoned with, because he tolerates no bullshit. He is getting stuff done, he is doing it efficiently, and he actually has bested the rebels. Now, some of the cameos in this show have been incredible. Like getting Billy D. Williams as Lando Calrissian, that was always awesome. Having Frank Oz come back to voice Yoda in Path of the Jedi. I admire Tom Kane's work for Clone Wars and for all the extended media he has done for Yoda, but nothing beats Frank Oz coming back to voice Yoda. He is the original. He is the perfect version of Yoda. And then James Earl Jones voicing Darth Vader in the first episode and probably tonight's episode. It just brings validity to this series and what the Clone Wars kind of failed to do. Now, the season's not perfect. There are a couple of things that I wish they could have done better. The first one, and my primary one, is that the female characters kind of are secondary characters. Sabine and Hera have kind of, you know, they get the spotlight in like one episode, but I don't know anything about them. Like their backstories, their past, and just anything about them has been very muddled and very vague. I think they're saving it for season 2, but it really would have been good for them to get more than a couple of moments to say, hey, we are fully fleshed out characters. It's the inner feminist in me saying, hey, the females needed a bit more this season. And my second problem with the show is that it feels a bit too pandery to original trilogy fans. Using the original musical themes, using the original sound effects, the same effects, essentially the same kind of art style, and basing a lot of the characters off of concept art from the original trilogy feels like it's kind of just saying, hey, we want to pander to all of the original trilogy fans just to make sure that you guys are happy. Like, we need to make sure to please you guys before we please everyone else. And that's something I don't want the show to continue with next season or the movies to continue with. I don't want episode 7 to pander to all the fans. It needs to be fresh and new. Like, have some of those original themes and some throwbacks, but don't base the entire thing on pleasing the fans. I know Disney won't do that. Disney is pretty good about balancing, but from what this season has taught me, they kind of did want to pander a little bit, but that's just me. Overall, the season has been great. I am looking very forward to the episode tonight, and my morbid theory about tonight, I think Kanan's going to sacrifice himself for Ezra. Physically. Like, I believe Kanan is going to die. That will complete his journey as the mentor figure. It'll complete his growth as well. Like, he will have realized what's more important, and that he is willing to give his life for what is more important. And that's that Ezra needs to survive, and he needs to protect Ezra. Hey everyone, thanks for watching, and don't forget to click that subscribe button. And you can follow me on Facebook, and also check out some of these other videos from Between Two Mats and R&D. More videos will soon follow.